Hello, we are talking about L5 inverse of matrices. The objective for today is students will be able to find inverses of matrices for a 2 by 2 and a 3 by 3. Our riddle for today is Mr. Smith has 4 daughters. Each of his daughters has a brother. How many children does Mr. Smith have? Okay. Take a moment, I'll read it again. Mr. Smith has 4 daughters. Each of his daughters has a brother. How many children does Mr. Smith have? And the answer to that is 5. He has 4 daughters and 1 son. All right, so just a way to start off a riddle. So here's our notes for the inverses. Okay, you may pause this video at any time to write these notes down if you wish, and then continue on. Inverses. Remember that all square matrices have determinants. Square matrices is like a 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4, and so forth. They form a square. Some of these square matrices have inverses. This means that some square matrices don't have an inverse. Just because it's a square matrix does not mean you're going to have an inverse. A symbol for an inverse is a to the negative 1. Okay? A to the negative 1. An inverse is a matrix that can be multiplied by the first matrix to get the identity matrix. This one right here is the identity matrix, and this is going to come into play later. So, in other words, I can say when I multiply these two together, I am going to see that I'm going to get an identity of 1001. We read across, and that says that inverse of A is B. That's what that means, that these two are equal to each other. So think of inverses. If you want to check on the calculator, this is what you would do to check. Okay? So, let me get out of that. Go to second matrix. Go to edit. A, right here. That is a 2 row by 2 column. So in A, I'm going to put a 2 by 2. See how that comes up? Now let's take a look. You can do another way. You can do alpha zoom and get into that as well, but I'm going to do it this way, and then I'll show you the other way in a little bit. Negative 2, enter, 2, enter, 3, enter, negative 4, enter. Okay? So I'm going to put that one in matrix A. Go to second matrix, go to 2. I'm going to name that one B. That one is also a 2 by 2. And this one is negative 2, enter, negative 1, enter, negative 1.5, enter, and negative 1. Okay, so I've entered all my data. So you can get out of that, and what you can do is you can go to second matrix, and I'm going to perform the math, okay? But before you do, we're going to grab 1 second matrix, grab A, times second matrix B. Do you see how it shows you the identity? That is one way you can enter that. There is also another way. This will work as well, okay? Watch what I do. Alpha zoom. Do you see how the rows and the column comes up? A has a 2 by 2. Enter, enter. Okay. So I'm going to enter A. What is A? Negative 2. Right click. You can't enter here. 2, right click, 3, right click, negative 4, right click, times my matrix B, alpha zoom, a 2 by 2, okay, see how that comes up? Now, if you have a TI-83, this is not going to work. You're going to have to do it the other way I just showed you. This only works for a TI-84, a new version. So, negative 2, right click, do not push enter until you're done. Right click, negative 1.5, right click, negative 1. Do you see how it shows you the identity matrix? And that's how you know that they are inverses of each other. Okay? Now let's look at the following. Let's tell whether the following are inverses. Okay? So this is a 3 by 3. So this is a square matrix. This is also a 3 by 3, okay? So you know this is also a square matrix. So let's check if the following are inverses. If you have a TI-84, you can use the alpha zoom. If you have a TI-83, you're going to have to go into second matrix and go to edit. I have a TI-84, so I'm going to hit, let's clear that first, alpha zoom, just like that. See how all that comes up? Okay. This here is a 3 by 3. Enter. Lower your cursor to 3, enter. Go to OK, enter. Okay. 2, right click 0, right click 1, right click 4, right click 1, right click 2, right click 2, right click 0, right click 4, right click. Times. Okay. This is a 3 by 3. And you know that I can multiply these two together. See how my rows and columns are exactly the same right there? That's actually column and row. And I know my new dimension is going to be a 3 by 3. Okay? Multiplication matrix. Alrighty. Alpha zoom. It's a 3 by 3. Okay? You ready? So, 2/3. 2 divided by 3. Right click. Remember a fraction. It's just a division. 0, right click. 1 divided by 6. Right click. -2, right click. 1, right click. 0, right click. -1 divided by 3, right click. 0, right click. 1 divided by 3. Okay? Enter. I wonder where I messed up. Let's double check. Let me see. -2, 0, 1, 6. -2, 1, 0. -1/3, 0, and 1/3. So, are those inverses at all? If you take a look, you see how this is not 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0? It's not that at all. So this one are not inverses of each other. So I'm going to call that one A. I'm going to call this one B. So A to -1 is not an inverse of B. They're not equal. Okay? Let's take a look at this one right here. All right? Now this one I'm actually going to do it by hand, just to show you guys. Actually, I'm going to do it by calculator. You ready? Clear that so it doesn't look so messy. Alpha zoom. This is a 2. Enter. 2 by 2. And a 2 by 2. These are alike. My new dimension will be a 2 by 2. Okay? So that's how you can look at it. All right. Enter. Okay. So I have a 2, right click, 3, right click, 7, right click, 10, right click. Times alpha zoom. Okay. This is also a 2 by 2. -10, right click, 3, right click, 7, right click, -2, right click. Is that an identity matrix? And the answer is yes. So A, inverse of A, is equal to B. And that's how you can check. Okay. Now, how do we find inverses for a given matrix? In the previous example, you guys were using this too, the 3 by 3, and you can tell these were not inverses. These were given to you, and you could tell that those were inverses. Okay? Now, you're going to go and find the inverse. You're going to find B. Right here. You're going to find B to make sure they're inverses. So how do you go about to find inverses for a given matrix? If you guess this is a big, long, annoying formula, the answer is you are absolutely correct. Okay? For 2 by 2 matrices, this is what you do. Yesterday, you guys were able to learn to find the determinant. And to find a determinant, A, you would take A times D minus B times C. Okay? Once you find the determinant, you're going to multiply that. You're going to take the inverse of it, and you're going to multiply times the adjunct matrix. Okay? You're going to find your inverse determinant times the adjunct matrix. Look what happens to your A and your D. They switch. And look at C and B. They negate. This is only for a 2 by 2. Keep that in mind, okay? You might want to write this formula, how you convert from a 2 by 2 to get your determinant, using that to try to find your inverse, and this is your adjugate matrix, okay? So, let's look at example 1. Wait a minute, I'll let you guys write that down real quick. Example 1. Let's see how we can find an inverse, okay? So, first of all, example 1. I have a 2 by 2 matrix. This is a 2 by 2, okay? First of all, you're going to find your determinant. How do you find your determinant? Well, your determinant is negative 2 times negative 4 minus 2 times 6, okay? And if you wrote 6 times 2, that's the same thing. So our determinant comes out to be negative 2 times negative 4 is 8 minus 12. So it comes out to be negative 4. That is your determinant for A. Now we're going to take the inverse of it. And how do you find the inverse? It's just 1 over your determinant A, which is negative 4, times our adjugate matrix, okay? And our adjugate matrix is this. Take negative 2 and negative 4, switch them, okay? Your 6 and your 2, C and your B, you're going to negate. So 6 becomes negative 6, 2 becomes negative 2. That's the first thing you're going to do to find an inverse for a given matrix, okay? You guys good? Now, this is like your scalar. From here, you're going to multiply it across. And guess what you are going to have, okay? 1 over negative 4 times negative 4. That's the same thing as negative 4 over negative 4. I'm going to show you the long way. You guys are probably in your head saying it's a 1. That's great. But I'm just going to show you the step by step. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2 over negative 4. Okay? 1 times negative 6 is negative 6 over negative 4. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2 over negative 4. And let's simplify, okay? What is negative 4 divided by negative 4? 1. Negative 2 divided by negative 4 is 1 half. Negative 6 divided by negative 4 is positive 3 over 2. Negative 2 divided by negative 4 is 1 half. And there you have your inverse. And to check if it's true, this is what you can do, okay? You ready? Enter. Let's clear that. Alpha zoom. It's a 2 by 2. Okay. Here's our original equation right here. Negative 2, right click. 2, right click. 6, right click. Negative 4, right click. Times. What was that inverse we just found right here? Let's type that in. Alpha zoom. It's a 2 by 2. Okay. 1, right click, 1 divided by 2, right click, 3 divided by 2, right click, 1 divided by 2, right click. Do you see how you have that identity? So this right here is an inverse, and it worked. Okay. Let's do another one. Alrighty, here we go. Here's an example. Okay. I keep showing you guys that, the adjugate, because that's something new, and just to help you guys try to remember. All right, here we have our problem, okay? Let's find our determinant. Remember, another way you can write determinant is letter B. So, 3 times negative 2 minus 2 times 3. So this comes out to be negative 6 minus 6, which is negative 12. And there is our determinant. Okay. Now we're going to use this to try to find our inverse. So 1 over our determinant is negative 12. All right? Take your 2 by 2 matrix. Let's find our adjugate. So switch the 3 and the negative 2 right here. So negative 2 goes here, 3 goes in that address. And then this 3 and this 2 right here, we're going to negate. Negative 3, negative 2. Everyone see that? Now here's our scalar, so we're going to multiply each one. And if you can go ahead and move on to the next step, that's fine. But I always want to show my students how to work each problem. 1 times negative 2 over negative 12. Okay? You're just multiplying fractions. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2 over negative 12. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3 over negative 12. 1 times 3 is 3 over negative 12. Just remember learning how to multiply your fractions. Now let's simplify. Negative 2 divided by negative 12 reduces to 1/6. Same for A12. Okay. Negative 3 divided by negative 12 is 1/4. And this one is negative 1/4. Let's see if it is true. Check your answers, because sometimes it might not be the inverse, okay? Let's take a look. Alpha zoom, got 2 by 2, right? Here we go. 3 right, 2 right, 3 right, negative 2. Enter, times alpha zoom, okay? Look at your inverse right here. It's a 2 by 2 as well. So you have 1 divided by 6, right click, 1 divided by 6, right click, 1 divided by 4, right click, negative 1 divided by 4, right click. Was that an identity? Check. That is true. Okay? All right. Here's an example 3. Do I need to do this one as well? Okay, I'm going to show you guys how to get started, and I'm going to let you finish it. So look at this one. Determinant. Okay, what's our determinant here? And if you know what you're doing, you can move along. 4 times negative 2, negative 8. I'm going to go ahead and do the math. Minus negative 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. A negative and negative becomes a positive. So determinant C is actually positive 2. Okay. So 1 over 2. Let's go to our adjugate matrix. Here we go. Switch. Negative 2, 4. Negate negative 5. Take the opposite. Negate 2, negative 2. Multiply them times your scalar. So I'm going to go ahead and simplify. Negative 2 over 2 is negative 1. Negative 2 over 2 is negative 1. 1 times 5 is 5 over 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And if you need to be multiplying and not go ahead and simplify, that's fine too. But I'm going ahead and skip that step. Let's check to see if it works. Okay, here we go. Original, alpha zoom, so 2 by 2. Okay. 4, right click, 2, right click, negative 5, right click, negative 2, right click, times the inverse. Here's my inverse right here. That is also a 2 by 2. So negative 1, right click, negative 1, right click, 5 divided by 2, right click, 2. Yes, that also works out. Okay. So there is the inverse right there. Now, sometimes, did you know this? That your calculator has an x to the negative 1 button. Take a look. Ta-da! Right there. Okay? X to the negative 1 button. Notice how it kind of goes with the matrix. You can actually find the inverse just by putting your matrix in the calculator and pressing that button. I guess I forgot to mention that, okay? Now you can go back and try your examples with a calculator. So, for example, let's take a look at this one right here. How would you do that on a calculator? Just try to find your inverse. Now for a 2 by 2, I'm going to tell you I need you to do it by hand, just so you kind of get used to knowing how to do it. Okay, let me switch lights real quick. But for a 3 by 3, I'll let you use that inverse button. But for a 2 by 2, you really need to know how to do it. Okay? So here we go. See that right there? Alpha zoom, 2 by 2, enter. 4, right click, 2, right click, negative 5, right click, negative 2, right click. Okay? So, notice what it does. Just gives you the same thing. Try again. Alpha, zoom. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. 4, right click, 2, right click, -5, right click, -2, right click. There we go, okay? So you type that in, then you raise it to the -1, just like you see it right here, and guess what you get? Can you guys see that? Okay, look, same thing. See it right there? Notice how I typed it? Okay. Alrighty. Now, to find an inverse of a 3 by 3 is quite a task. It's going to take you a long time. So guess what? For a 3 by 3, I will let you use a calculator. So let's try this one and see what it would be. Okay? So here we go. Clear it? So, this here is a 3 by 3. It is a square matrix. So let's see if there's an inverse. So, alpha zoom, 3 by 3, okay. See it right there? 2, right click, 0, 1, 4, 1, 2, 2, 0, 4, right? Okay. Remember that button right here? Raise it to the -1. There's your inverse. Push enter. Wow. This one has a lot. Okay. Let's see if they convert it. And so notice I hit math fraction and it converted to a fraction for me. So here you have 2/3, 0, -1/6, -2, 1, 0, -1/3, 0, 1/3. And there's your inverse. Let me write that. Okay, right there. So now if you want me, this is the answer that you had at first. Okay. You see how there was a lot of decimals? You didn't want to be writing that down, so if you hit math, convert it to fraction, it will convert to fraction for you. Okay. All right. That's the end of your lesson. You have an assignment. This assignment is due later in the week. It is marked at the top of your paper. Have a great day. I think you guys will do great on this. This will lead into solving systems. Bye-bye.